I think in general, the more real things you can use as your building blocks and as your foundation, the better the fantasy world will work. So I'm always very keen on using as much reality as possible. And often it's in the small things, what people wear and what they eat and how they behave, and the weather and so on, and also the consequences of all these things. So all of that, all of those small real building blocks add up to help make your more fantastical edifice stand up. So yes, having decided that it's going to be a Three Musketeers alternate France does give you a lot to work with in terms of those basic building blocks.
I want to look at the wonderful, and I have to say it's one of my favourite series, but I feel terrible because I've only got the rejacketed ones.
There's no need to feel terrible. It's good.
They're beautiful, but I really still love the jackets that I first met way back whenever they were first published.
Well, Sabriel goes all the way back to 1995 in Australia.
Well, there you
go.
That's
a long way back.
Yeah. And I took a long time to read that book because I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. And when someone said it's about a necromancer, I thought, oh, I can't be doing with dead people. It's all too scary. But I was just so gripped by those really strong female characters. And you've alluded to that earlier. Why is it? How is it that you're a male and you can write such believable, strong, yet vulnerable female characters?
I do. I find it funny. People ask me this from time to time. Yeah. And I find it kind of odd that people ask me about this. How do you write, powerful women characters? They don't ask me how I write completely made-up monsters. My books are full of completely invented creatures and hideous monsters and so on, all of which I have to invent. Whereas writing about, capable, super capable, competent women, they're everywhere around us. So all I have to do is have a look. So that is easily drawn from life. Those characters, I don't base any one of my characters on any one person, but I take little bits and pieces from people I know and sometimes people I've just observed. Sometimes it's just I see something and I think I take some aspect of their character or how they've interacted with something or how they've dealt with a situation. So I actually find that's very easy. And I think also, reading also equips you to understand other people, including if you're a man reading about female characters, that it helps you understand, and books particularly written by women. So I think it's all there. It's all that raw material is there. So it should be relatively easy to write it. And I think a lot of the time for me, with Sabriel or Sabriel, you can pronounce it however you like. I always tell people, it doesn't matter. I flip-flop myself depending on who I'm talking to. I wrote the prologue not knowing what else I was going to write, which is often my technique. I often write a prologue or a sequence to try and work out the tone and so on. I don't actually write an outline or work out what else is going to happen until I've done that. And when I was writing the prologue, I initially thought I was going to write about Sabriel's father. But actually, once I'd written the prologue, I thought, Sabriel's much more interesting than he is. I'm going to write about her. So that was just a happy accident, really. But I tend to often think women are more interesting than men, not least because there are so many stories written by men about men, and why add more? It seemed to me.